Hello everyone, I am B. Shobharani from the Department of Biology, Vidyashram Pre-University College, Mysore. Dear students, in my second session, we dealt about the remaining concepts of chapter 1 called reproduction in organisms. So what were the concepts we studied in the second session of this chapter called reproduction in organisms? We studied about two very important plants which show rare flowering. That was about bamboo and Strobilanthes kuntiana, that is Neelakuranji. Right? Then we dealt about the reproductive phases in animals. As you know, the reproductive phase is of variable duration in different organisms. Based on that, we studied about two reproductive phases, namely the seasonal breeders and the continuous breeders. Then we learnt about the reproductive cycle, that is the estrous cycle and the menstrual cycle, and the differences between estrous cycle and menstrual cycle. So in today's session 3, we will be dealing with the remaining part of this same chapter called reproduction in organism. So what are we going to deal in this particular session? Here we are going to study about the events in sexual reproduction. As you all know, sexual reproduction is a very complex process which involves certain events. And these events which are involved in the sexual reproduction are categorized into 3 events, namely pre-fertilization events. Secondly, fertilization events. Third, post-fertilization events. What do you mean by pre-fertilization events? The events that is going to happen prior to fertilization, before the process of fertilization takes place. The events that is going to happen before fertilization is called pre-fertilization. Then comes the fertilization events. What is fertilization events? That is the fusion of the male gamete with the female gamete resulting in the formation of a zygote, and that zygote will develop into embryo. And the post, the very word itself will tell you, post means what? After. So the events that are going to take place after fertilization is called post-fertilization events. In my today's session, I'll be dealing with this particular event called pre-fertilization events, and in the coming sessions, I am going to deal with the fertilization events and the post-fertilization events. Moving on to the first event, that is pre-fertilization events. As I said, what is pre-fertilization events? These are the events that are going to take place in sexually reproducing organism prior to the fusion of the gametes, before the process of fertilization will take place. So that event is called as pre-fertilization event. And this pre-fertilization event again involves 2 very important steps. Let us know what are those 2 important steps. The 2 very important steps are gametogenesis and gamete transfer. Once again, what is pre-fertilization event? The event that is going to occur before fertilization or prior to the fusion of the gametes is called pre-fertilization events. And what are the 2 very important steps that is going to happen in this pre-fertilization event? One is gametogenesis, the other one is gamete transfer. So again, as I said, in today's session, I'll be dealing with gametogenesis and later in the coming session about gamete transfer. Now, what is gametogenesis? When you split the word itself, you will get children. Gametes. Genesis means what? Formation. Formation of gametes is called gametogenesis. That is, how do you define the word called gametogenesis? Maybe it is asked for 1 mark question. It is the process of formation of haploid male and haploid female gametes. As you know, gametes are the specialized sex cells that are formed after meiotic cell division. So what is gametogenesis? Gametogenesis is the process of formation of haploid male and haploid female gamete. And what are gametes? Gametes are specialized sex cells. How are they formed? They are formed after meiotic cell division. Now these gametes are again classified into two types, homogametes or isogametes and heterogametes or anisogametes. What are the two types of gametes again? There are two types. One is called homogametes or isogametes, heterogametes or anisogametes. Now you may ask a question as to what is the basis for classifying the gametes into homogametes and heterogametes based on their morphological structure. Based on the morphological structure of the gametes, we classify the gametes into homogametes and heterogametes. Now let us study one by one with a beautiful picture. Moving on to the homogametes. As I said, homo means what? Similar. And gametes, as you know, they are sex cells. They are also called as what? Isogametes. Iso means what? Similar. So what are homogametes? These are the gametes where both the male and the female gametes are similar in size and shape. Morphologically, they are similar. Here you can see one is male gamete, the other one is female gamete. Can you differentiate the male and the female gamete in this picture, children? No. That means to say both the male gamete and the female gametes are morphologically similar in size and shape. This you can come across in some algae, and a classical example is isogametes of Cladophora. So what are homogametes? These are the gametes where both the male and the female are similar in size and shape or morphologically similar. Here you can see in the picture both the male and the female gametes are almost similar, morphologically similar, and you are unable to differentiate the male gamete from the female gamete. Such gametes are called homogametes. Homo means same. Moving on to the next, that is heterogametes. Hetero means what? Different. Different gametes. That is, as you know, the gametes are different. There is a separate male gamete and the female gamete. That is, they are morphologically dissimilar. Very easily you can differentiate the male gamete from the female gamete with the size and shape. And such gametes are called heterogametes. That is, these are the male and female gametes which are dissimilar morphologically. And what is the classical example for heterogametes, children, then? It is the human being, the gametes of human being. One is the egg, the other one is the sperm. Morphologically, egg is bigger in size than the sperm. So both the gametes are dissimilar in size and shape or morphologically dissimilar. Hence the name heterogametes. So what are the two types of gametes? Homogametes and heterogametes. What are homogametes? Homogametes are those gametes where both the male and the female gametes are similar in size and shape or morphologically similar. What are heterogametes? Heterogametes are those gametes where you can differentiate the male gamete from the female gamete morphologically because they are morphologically dissimilar. Then moving on to the next concept, that is sexuality in organisms. Very, very important concept to learn, children. As you know, there are two sexes, that is sexuality. One is the unisexuality, the other one is bisexuality. Here we can categorize the sexuality in organism into two. One is sexuality in plants, the other one is sexuality in animals. Now let us move on one by one. Sexuality in plants. Here sexuality in plants is of two types. One is called unisexual or dioecious or heterothallic. The other one is called bisexual or homothallic or monoecious. So what are the two types of sexuality in plants you are going to come across? One is sexuality in plants, that is unisexuality and bisexuality. What is unisexuality otherwise called? Very important, dioecious. Di means what? Two, separate. Then hetero means what? Separate. Male is separate from the female. And bisexual, where the same individual will have both the male and the female reproductive structures. So you use the word called bisexual or homo. The same individual will have both the reproductive structures or monoecious, right? Now let us see what is the condition, that is moving on to the sexuality in animals. unisexual or dioecious, when the sexes are separate. That is, the male is separate from the female. You are able to distinguish the male organism from the female organism. Also, we can use a word called sexual dimorphism. Sexual dimorphism. What do you mean by sexual dimorphism? There are distinct differences between the male and the female individual. You are able to differentiate the male individual from the female individual. So sexes are separate, unisexual or dioecious. Moving on to the next condition, bisexual or monoecious. What do you mean by bisexual? Here you can give the example of mammals. Sexes are separate. Bisexual or monoecious, where a single individual will have both the reproductive structures, both the male and the female reproductive structures, and such a condition is called bisexuality or monoecious or hermaphrodites. You can give an example of earthworm, then you can give an example of leech, etc. Right? So what is the sexuality in animals? Sexuality in animals is of two types. What are they? Unisexual or dioecious, and bisexual or monoecious, or you can use one more word called hermaphrodites in animals for bisexuality, which you are not going to use it in sexuality in plants. When we study about the bisexuality in plants, we don't use the word called hermaphrodites. Only we use this word called hermaphrodites in plants. Right? Hope you have understood the sexuality in organisms, that is unisexuality in plants, which is divided into two, that is unisexual and bisexual. Unisexual means what? A plant-based flowers having either the male flower called staminate or the female flower called pistillate separately. Then bisexual means the same plant will bear the flower, and the flower will have both the male and the female reproductive structures. And what is sexuality in animals? Again the same, we use the word called unisexual or dioecious, where the sexes are separate. Male is separate from the female. Hence we also use a word called sexual dimorphism. Di means what? Two. Morphism is morphological structure. You are able to distinguish the male individual from the female individual with certain characteristic features. Hence the word unisexual or dioecious. Bisexual or monoecious, when a single individual will have both the male as well as the female reproductive structures in the same body, we use the word called bisexual or monoecious or hermaphrodites. What were the examples we gave for unisexuality or dioecious in animals? Mammals. Then bisexual or monoecious or hermaphrodites, leech, earthworm, etc. Then moving on to the next very important concepts. As you know, gametes in all heterogametic species are of two types, that is the male gamete and the female gamete. As you all know, the gametes are haploid in spite of the parent being either haploid or diploid. Right? Now, in diploid organisms, the gamete mother cells will undergo meiosis to produce gametes. Such gamete mother cells which will undergo meiosis are called as meiocytes. This is asked for 1 mark question in your exam, children. What are meiocytes? So what are meiocytes? In diploid organisms, the gamete mother cells will undergo what? Meiosis to produce what? To produce haploid gametes, and such gamete mother cells are called as what? Meiocytes. So as a result, at the end of meiosis, one set of chromosomes are incorporated into each gamete, hence that each gamete will be what? Haploid. So whenever we use the word called meiocyte, it is diploid, 2n. Whenever we use the word called haploid, it is n. Right? Hope you have understood what are. So this is very, very important to study about the chromosomal number in meiocytes and the chromosomal number in haploid. That is in meiocytes and haploid. Haploid means what? Gametes are always haploid. So if this is 2n, it is reduced to n, half of it. Right? I think you can understand this concept better with this tabular column. Right? So here is a tabular column which gives you an idea about the chromosome number in meiocytes. As I said, meiocyte is always 2n diploid, right? And gametes are haploid, that is n. So the resultant cells of meiosis is what? Gametes. So always the gamete mother cell is 2n, that is diploid, and the gametes are haploid. Now let us take some examples of the organisms and their meiocyte number and their gametes. So here when we use the word called meiocyte, 2n, it is meiocytes. So n means what? Haploid, right? Human beings, I think all of us know what is the chromosomal number of human being. It is always diploid, that is 46 is the diploid number. What will be the haploid? As I said, at the end of meiosis, one set of chromosomes are incorporated in each gamete. So one set means how much it will be? 23, half of it. Right? For example, it is asked in exam, write the meiocyte number of human being. So what will be the answer? 46. Write the gamete number of human beings. Then you have to write it as 23. Right? Moving on to the next example, that is housefly. Right? Human beings 46. 2n number is always 46. What will be the n number? Haploid number will be half of it. That is 23. Then moving on to housefly. Housefly, what is the meiocyte number? 12. So what will be the haploid number? Half of it will be 6. Right? Then moving on to the next example called rat. So what is the diploid number? 2n number, meiocytic number 42. So what will be half of it? Haploid number is 21. Then dog. The diploid or meiocyte number is 78. Half of it is 39. Then cat. What is the meiocyte number, 2n number? 38. So what will be the haploid or gamete number? 19. Sometimes children, they will ask you the gamete number and ask you to write the meiocyte number also. For example, for dog they'll say if it is 39, what will be the meiocyte number? So what will be the meiocyte number for dog? Then it will be 78. So this is the question which is asked in your examination for 1 mark. Any example from this tabular column will be asked in your PU board examination. So this is a very important concept for you all to learn in your first chapter of your syllabus, that is reproduction in organisms. Moving on to the next example, that is fruit fly. As you all know, fruit fly is called Cinderella of genetics. And the chromosomal number or the meiocyte number is 8. So what will be the haploid number? Half of it is 4. Then moving on to Ophioglossum, it is a fern. See the meiocyte number 1260, 1260 is the 2n number, diploid number. Meiocyte means what? Diploid. So what will be the haploid number then? 630. They might ask, write the meiocyte number of Ophioglossum. If they have asked you meiocyte number, it will be 1260. Write the gamete number of Ophioglossum if it is asked. So what will be the gamete number? 630. Right, children? Then moving across apple. The meiocyte number is 34. And what will be the haploid number? 17. Half of it is 17. Rice. Rice is 24. The meiocyte number is 24. So what will be the haploid number? Half of it? 12. Then maize. Meiocyte number is 20. Half of it is, that is 10. So meiocyte number is 2n double, whereas half of it is haploid number. That you all have to remember. Then moving across potato, the meiocyte number is 48. And what will be the haploid number then? It will be 24. Then moving across butterfly, the number is the meiocyte number. You should be very careful when you are writing the chromosomal number, whether it is meiocyte or the gamete. You have to be very careful. So here if it is 380, then half of it will be 190. Then moving across the last but one example, onion. So what will be the meiocyte number? It is 16 and half of it is 8. So once again, we'll just go through the examples, their meiocyte number and the gamete number. Human beings 46, 23, housefly 12, 6, rat 42, 21, dog 78, 39, cat 38, 19, Fruit fly meocyte number is 8. So the gamete number will be 4. Ophioglossum 1260, it will be 630. The gamete haploid number will be 630. Haploid, or you can also use the word called gamete, right? Then apple 34, it is 17. Then rice 24, it is 12. Then maize 20, 10. Then potato 48, 24. Butterfly 380, 190. And onion is 16, 8, right? So in today's session, so what are all the important concepts we have studied in the continuing chapter of chapter 1 called reproduction in organisms? We have studied about the pre-fertilization event. That is, we studied about the events that are going to take place in sexual reproduction. As I said, the events in sexual reproduction are broadly categorized into how many events? 3 events. What are they? The pre-fertilization events, the fertilization events, and the post-fertilization events. And what did we study in the post-fertilization events? We studied in pre-fertilization events, we studied about the events that are going to take place prior to the fusion of the gametes. And as I said, the pre-fertilization event is again divided into 2 steps. One is called gametogenesis, the other one is called the gamete transfer. As I said, the gamete transfer part I will be dealing it in my coming session. So what is gametogenesis, children? The formation of gametes. And genesis means what? Formation, synthesis, right? Formation of gametes is called gametogenesis. And what are gametes? Gametes are specialized haploid sex cells which are formed after meiotic cell division. Then gametes are broadly classified into how many types? 2 types. What were they? Homogametes and heterogametes. Homogametes and heterogametes. What was the basis for classifying them into homogametes and heterogametes? Based on their morphological structure, right? Then we dealt about the sexuality in organisms, where we studied about the sexuality in plants, where we categorize them into unisexual and bisexual, or unisexual or dioecious or heterothallic, whereas bisexual or monoecious or homothallic. And we also dealt or studied about the sexuality in animals, that is same unisexual or dioecious, and bisexual or monoecious or hermaphrodite. Then we dealt about the chromosomal number, where we have studied about the chromosomal number in meiocytes and gametes. What are meiocytes? In diploid organisms, the gamete mother cells undergo meiosis to produce gametes, and such diploid gamete mother cells are called meiocytes, wherein the number will always be 2n. And at the end of meiosis, what will happen? As a result of meiosis, one set of chromosomes are incorporated into the gametes, and hence it is haploid. That is, gametes will have haploid set of chromosomes. So we have studied about various examples here, like we have studied about the meiocyte number of human being, that is 46, and 20, the haploid number is 23, housefly, that is 12 and 6, rat 42 and 21, then dog 78 and 39, cat 38 and 19, fruit fly, that is 8 and 4, Ophioglossum 1260 and 630, apple 34 and 17, rice 24 and 12, maize 20 and 10, then potato 48 and 24, butterfly 380 and 190, onion 16 and 8. So with this, I am going to conclude this session, and in my coming session I am going to deal with the remaining part of this very important chapter 1 called reproduction in organisms. So till then, bye bye and thank you.